I will continue to work in this lesson with the render command. Before I started, I corrected hull a little more by doing the same things I did it in the previous lessons. I want to show hull. There is nothing different that I have done. I corrected the hull a little more by doing the same operations that I showed in the previous lessons. They are two major changes I have made. I want to talk about this. First, main deck line height was at 7.2 meters. I moved the main deck to the level of 8.2 meters as I had difficulty in removing distortion on the hull at the junction of the main deck and the forecastle. So, I moved the main deck to the forecastle level. In this way, I got rid of deformation on the surface. Forecastle height will remain at 8.2 meters. But I will use trim process my main deck so I can add it to the top of the boat. So, from the level of at 7.2 meters, I will trim the upper part. Main deck height will be at 7.2 meters. The second change I made was that after pulling my control points enough, if I click on surface twice, I also increased the stiffness of the surface. In this way, surface was created in a softer way. I select cancel. In this lesson, I will continue to work by introducing the render command. In the next lesson, we will do the trimming process of the surface. Then we will add stern and main deck on top of our design. I press the render command from the display tab. The render command illuminates the surface in different colors so that I can view the distortion on the surfaces so that the errors are visible. I'll start from the top left. When I turn off the render option, the render view will be closed. The render here is equal to the render here. When I close the render command and press OK, render view will be closed directly. I press display and render command again. I click on the render option. This command only works in the perspective view and with the render option selected. The simple shading command provides the appearance of the surface using polygons. I hit OK. It will show the surface using polygons. At the same time, when the frames are added to the boat, provides a near real appearance. I press display and render command again. Smooth shading is the look we use all the time. When I press OK, it will come to the position we always use. I press display and render command again. The Gaussian curvature option displays the product of the maximum and minimum values at the point on the surface. This allows the appearance of breaks and bends on the surface. In other words, it allows to show our mistakes by bending or rolling without deforming. I choose the Gaussian curvature option. After selecting, the boxes on the side became active. I want to show you this option first without ever changing. I hit OK. Then we see the deformations on the surface in different colors. Minus is concave, plus is convex, showing the breaks on the surface. In other words, where plus is broken, the refraction is outward, where minus is inward. I press display and render command again. I will continue by introducing this part. If I turned off the show positive values option, it will not show me the positive values. If I press OK and the positive values turn black, positive values are no longer displayed. Only the minus and 0 are displayed. I press display and render command again. If I turn off the show negative values option, negative values will not be shown. Only positive values will be displayed. If we select both, they will all appear. The brightness level option at the bottom serves to adjust the brightness of the surface to be displayed. Let's first set this value to 3, then hit OK. As you increase the brightness, the visibility of distortion on the screen will increase. I press display and render command again. This time I'm making the value 2. When I set the value to 2, the surface will appear brighter. We won't be able to see most of the deviations. As you increase this value, you can see the distortion on the screen more precisely. I hit OK. the deformations are no longer so clearly shown to me. That is, deformations are displayed in a coarser way. It is not shown in more detail. I press display and render comment again. Render mesh precisions option determines the sensitivity with which the view shown on the screen will be shown to you. If I choose 1 value, sensitivity will be low. If I choose 5, sensitivity will be high. After talking about this, I come back to the left side. The longitudinal curvature options display deformations on the surface in the longitudinal direction. When I press OK, it shows us the deformation in the longitudinal direction. Since my surface is a smooth surface, it appears green in most places. I press display and render comment again. The transverse curvature option does this in a transverse direction. It provides a transverse directional surface analysis appearance. Projection is positioned in a transverse direction. In this way, you can see the transverse deformations. Pressing OK will provide a transverse analysis view. I press display and render comment again. Convexivity option is there to show concave and convex. When I select this option and press OK, it will show the concave and convex errors. If I make this value 3, I can see it more clearly. I hit OK. Convex and concave are shown to me here. Shown here as a concave minus, convex indicated as plus. Or there is no convexivity or concavity in the places shown in green. Value is directly 0. I press display and render comment again. We use the render comment for these operations. It shows you the deformations on the screen in different views. We can correct the errors on the surface by playing with control points. You can fix errors this way. However, there is one thing to be aware of, that this comment shows the deformations on your surface. However, when I come to the for example, surface must be like this. How do I know it must be like this? I did a CFD analysis of my model. In the CFD analysis, it actually turned out to be efficient for the bot. If it is more efficient for the bot, I can play with these surfaces to make my surface smoother. So, seeing a grey surface here may not necessarily mean your model is a perfect surface, because maybe having the surface green isn't efficient in terms of resistance or stability. You can use this comment to correct only distortions on the surface. I tick the smooth shading option again. At the bottom, there is a tri-mesh settings option. It has sub-options. These are directly related to the analysis of the meshes that you will create in the tri-mesh tab. I will explain the tri-mesh tab at the beginning of the multi-frame module. We analyze the meshes that we create when we examine them. I will not explain this part for now. I hit cancel. That's it for the render comment. See you in the next lesson.